Hello and welcome. I'm Louise Digby. I'm a registered nutritional therapist and founder of the Nourish Method to Lasting Fat Loss. And I help women who are frustrated and stuck with stubborn weight and who really want to balance their hormones so that they can lose their weight for good. And today I thought I would pop along and tell you about one of the things that comes up fairly regularly when I'm talking to ladies about the approach that they take to their weight loss. And one concern that a lot of women have is around exercise. And what I hear over and over again is that I don't want to bulk up. I don't want to get big and muscly. I just want to be slim. And this is a really good conversation to have, I think, because there are some real misconceptions here. So the first thing to know is that just because you're going to start exercise or just because you might start doing some weight training or HIIT classes or whatever it might be, it doesn't mean that you're automatically going to start bulking up. When you see, women who are muscular, let's say athletes, that takes some serious work to get that muscle structure. They work out, twice a day and relatively intense workouts to get that muscle tone. And you are not going to end up bulking up and becoming really muscular by, doing a few workouts a week or even a workout a day. Yeah, you'll develop muscle tone and you will gain a little bit of muscle, but you're not going to end up really bulky by doing the type of exercise that you might need to do to maintain weight loss. And while we're on that note, exercise is important. It is, when it comes to weight loss, about 80-90% nutrition or lifestyle, what you put into your body, how you look after yourself, and around about 10-20% exercise. You cannot avoid the exercise factor. And there's right and wrong things to do. There are things that suit some people and don't suit others. And you don't have to turn into a gym bunny. You don't have to become obsessed with CrossFit or anything like that. It can be really small bite-sized chunks of workouts that you do, but we just need to be doing something to start working on your muscle mass, because one of the many factors that comes into play for women in their late 30s and older is that muscle mass starts to decline quite rapidly. And it really is a case of, if you don't use it, you lose it. So the exercise that you're doing, if you're doing strength training or anything that works on your muscles, then the likelihood is that the main thing that you're achieving is preventing muscle loss rather than gaining muscle. Because to gain muscle, we've really got to be overloading our muscles regularly, which means doing, really heavy weights and then going through that repair and recovery period and then going back to doing really heavy weights. So doing the types of resistance training where you're not doing really, really heavy weights, maybe you're doing lighter weights and more repetitions, you're not going to be really bulking up. And honestly, to achieve that bulkiness, it's not just about doing exercise. You've got to really be loading up your diet with protein and with carbohydrates and really getting quite granular with the nutrition, which you don't need to do if you want to lose weight. But what you do need to do is some sort of resistance training and just something that's working on your muscles and preventing that muscle loss. And when you do the typical kind of restrictive diet, when you are either cutting out a food group or you're focusing on reducing your calories, you're always going to be losing muscle. And with those typical diets, it's about 40% of 40% of the weight that you lose is muscle. That's a massive reduction. And that means that when you get, to the point where you want to maintain, the weight is quite likely to go back on because you've lost a massive amount of muscle. And when you lose muscle, your metabolism declines. It is metabolically active, your muscle. And so the less you have, the fewer calories you burn at rest. So maintaining your muscle mass is critical to being able to maintain your weight loss results. And in some cases, building some muscle is critical to actually be able to lose the weight in the first place. Because if you've not been active for a while, or if you've been doing these restrictive diets for a while, then you've probably lost a lot of muscle, or maybe your muscle is quite fatty and it's not very lean. And so you might look like you've got some muscle, but it could actually be streaked with fat. So think like streaky bacon. That is not good. That is what we call sarcopenia, and that is, muscle loss essentially. So we need to make sure that we are working on your muscles. Now, in terms of how we work with our clients on this, we always come to exercise later on. We always start with nutrition and making sure you're sleeping properly, making sure you're hydrated and you're managing stress well. We bring in the exercise later because exercise is a stressor in itself. And if your body isn't happy because your hormones are all over the place, your blood sugars are all over the place, you're not sleeping well, your stress is through the roof, whatever it might be, sometimes exercise can actually just not be helpful. And it can be best that we start with really gentle stuff and then bring in more targeted stuff later on. But we're also really cautious with what we recommend to our ladies, because again, if your stress is through the roof, or if your thyroid isn't working very well, maybe if your diet isn't quite in the right place, then we don't want to be doing really intense workouts, because it's only going to worsen those things. And if you're not fueling your body properly, you're not really going to be getting much from your workouts anyway. You're probably going to be causing muscle damage and then not providing your body with the raw materials it needs to repair and rebuild that muscle. So the key message that I want you to take from this is that you do not need to fear bulking up, and bringing in a little bit of resistance training into your workouts is not going to result in you becoming the next Mrs. Muscle. And instead, what it's going to do is help to just lean down your muscle, and that is going to help to increase your metabolic rate. But the caution that I give is, if you're starting to think about making changes to your diet, if your stress is high, if you've got imbalances and you feel like things aren't quite right, maybe you have some symptoms, fatigue, bloating, anything like that, that tells you that something isn't quite right, then sometimes exercise isn't the best place to start. And, it's difficult to change lots of things at once. And we always like to do things step by step to make it really practical and achievable, because at the end of the day, one half of maintaining your progress is making sure that we don't lose too much muscle and that your metabolic rate doesn't drop. And the second part of it is implementing habits that are going to be sustainable. And that means doing things step by step in a really methodical way, so that, you don't get overwhelmed and it just becomes second nature to implement these things day by day. So, excuse me, hopefully this has been helpful. If it has, make sure you give us a like, and I'll be back soon with another topic to talk about. Bye.